Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase, where unfortunately I actually recorded this once already, but I managed to turn my mic off, so you had Factorio music playing happily in the background, but none of my beautiful voice talking, so we missed out. So I'm going to have to do this again, as I'm doing now, to try and fill you in on the blanks. Basically, last time, between times rather, what I did was I have filled out all of the the build. I've built out this whole green circuit project and built a path which is just made out of standard concrete, not the new version of concrete. Oh, and it looks like I need a radar down there. So let's use this concrete path. I mean, there were certainly many trips back and forth to build this out, so I decided to deliver myself some concrete to make it a little bit easier, and it certainly helped, and it will continue to help while we build out the rest of this facility in this episode. And speaking of which, I apologise for missing our 2-day schedule. I'll try and get us back in line with that at least, and ultimately, I mean, I do want to get back to the 1 a day, but I just have a few real life things to which are demanding a little bit of my time, so they need to kind of take priority, unfortunately. But we certainly won't be stopping anytime soon. We'll be carrying this through to the full SpaceX ending. What is the science doing at the moment? We are, let's see, it's roughly 4,500 a minute. That's not too bad. It's not obviously our maximum, but we are a little bit strapped in terms of iron getting made into steel to achieve our maximum, so that is not going to happen just yet. So I guess what I want to do is fix up all those names. We'll just go over to an old one to check what sort of naming convention we use there. GC2 pickup. So I guess this one, the green circuit, needs to be called, say, GC3 pickup. So we will run through and put a GC3 pickup on each and every one of these stations. I guess in terms of having mucked up my recording, at least I have only done one episode, but it is a fairly long one, so that's a little bit tedious. Never mind. Now we also need to relabel the ore stations. They just have their random initial names, but we need an ore drop kind of name here, so I guess GC7 iron is probably what we're up to. Looks like some of the ones I actually changed the naming scheme on, but GC7 iron will certainly work for this. So let's do that. Yeah, let's put the focus back where we need it. GC7 iron, which will make the next one. That's the green circuit, obviously. The next one should be a GC7 copper. And then GC8 iron. And following on, obviously, let's set up GC8 copper. I think we end up with 10 of these in total. So this just means that we can use our publish and subscribe tools to pull trains to where they're needed, rather than just having them go to wherever there is space. There's GC9 copper, so just 2 to go. GC10 iron. Now, when we remove some stations from our initial green circuit build to accommodate these, because they're intended as a more efficient way and a way of accessing more copper and iron resources, rather than a complete and yes, it looks like there's missing a line there or something. We certainly need a radar to sort that out. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is in terms of the numbering from GC1 to GC10, we are going to remove 2 of the mini stacks within the initial 2 stacks. So yeah, we won't have complete numbering, but it's really not going to matter that much, because I mean, obviously with the ore outposts, we're not trying to keep the numbers consistent and filled. We just add new numbers as we open up new mines, and quite a few of the initial ones have been completely depleted, so they're gone. Now let's see, I need some red circuits. Unfortunately there are some there, so let's grab those red circuits. I think that's what we grabbed, yes. 200 red circuits, and what are we going to do next? We're going to call... We obviously need the trains for each of these 4 mines. I think we'll go with 4 trains per mine. There's 4 of them, 4 of each type. So what's that? 4 6s, 24 by 4s, 96. Or doubled is 192, so that's copper and iron. And of course the wagons, we will need 8 rather than 6, so instead of 192, that's 256, is it? Yeah, 256, let's run with that. So they'll slowly get delivered. It'll probably take a little while. I doubt I have that many just sitting in supply, so I'll have to start building some. But at least we can build our publishers and subscribers if I can drive this train properly. My serial packet that I got my train driver's license out of obviously didn't equip me very well to actually drive them. Anyway, let's do copper first. We need to set up the fuel, and driving up there's probably a mistake. I really didn't want the train to start unloading its stuff here. This is for fuel, not for the contents of the engineering train. So we're going to have to run up here and grab our stuff back. Now the yeah, I was just pointing out that it's actually supposed to be providing fuel into all of these, and obviously it hasn't yet. We need some bots to be deployed, so let's deploy our bots. Let's deploy half of that. We don't need a lot of bots for this. Refueling trains is a fairly low intensity job. Now we need to move the train counter and the train publisher to the other side of the track, because it will cover 2 squares distance, and the rail itself is 2 squares, so it's too far away for the effect of our train counter and train publisher to work. So we need to move them to the other side of the track and sort of redo the logic, which we will do now. So we're currently generating a P, which means we want to order a train. What am I looking for? Oh, I don't think I have that many arithmetic combinators on me, so I'm trying to grab a few more. And there aren't that many, so we're going to head back to the engineering train stop at... We'll just do it manually anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah, we'll just head back there and see if there's... actually, we're not going back to the engineering stop at all. We are going to our supply box that we dumped earlier, because I know in there I do have some, or at least I think I do. Oh, it was wire, sorry, it was wires that we needed. I think we'll realise in a bit that we also need the arithmetic combinators, but for now I'll just grab some more red circuits. And yeah, we'll grab those boxes as well, why not? You never know. I mean, sooner or later I'm going to come back and pick up the lot, so it doesn't hurt to have some now. Right, are we going to stop off? No, we're not. We're going to just use our wire. Okay, it's a lot easier to commentate when you know exactly what you're doing rather than trying to do it afterwards, but I will continue to try and do whatever I can. So yeah, with our wires we can now try and place our circuit logic. Yeah, I want to fix up the station names, so it's probably better to, as I did there, remove the publisher. This one should probably just be called Refuel, GC Copper, and these ones need to be called Fuel something. Let's just have a quick check what they are. Fuel Stop. Yeah, that's right. Fuel Stop 3. So my mod requires them to have a special naming convention to direct trains to a stop depending on how large they are. So if they have 3 engines, it's Fuel Stop 3, 2 engines, Fuel Stop 2, 1 engine, Fuel Stop 1, so that you can build a platform accordingly to refuel such trains. So hence these two had to be called Fuel Stop 3. Right, let's put our publisher back in and wire this thing up. So yeah, we'll connect from there. We obviously need to send the T signal to this first arithmetic combinator so that we can get that -1. Which means we need a wire from the station to the back, which we don't currently have, and we need to get information about the quantity of the rocket fuel. So yeah, we're just reading the stop train. We don't actually need the send to train there, but maybe I'll leave it for the time being. But yes, we're not currently getting the fuel yet, which is just as well that I haven't set up the rest of the condition there, because I need to pass in the signal for the lack of fuel first. And of course I had to reverse this blueprint, or I swapped the side of it or something, so it's sending the signal currently to the wrong side. So let's just take that out and build it in to this other side. So a big pole, and we're reading the logistic network. That's right, we don't want to read the bot information, we want to read the actual network, what's in the network. Connect that up, and that's now generating the correct signal. So now we just need the logic. Oh, and mining productivity 234 has just finished. So hopefully I see that in a moment. Because we want to carry on with 235. 93,000 science worth. Even though we're running just a tad over half speed, we are getting through these at a decent clip still. Where are you trying to get to? From there to there, so that's producing that signal. Got our P1. No trains on the way yet, of course, and we haven't filled in the enabled condition. So as per usual here, just for consistency, it's trains on the way less than P. There you go, and it's already sent one. So that is convenient. Let's get our train out of the way before the fuel train tries to get up here. And head on over to iron to see if we can do what we need to up there. Now I will, there are some things in terms of getting the this green circuit project up and running that will end up being slightly repetitive, so I will try and cut some of those, I guess, out from the final footage. Well, I'll probably just record bits, or in fact I did just record bits, miss some bits, but this doesn't really take very long, so this isn't going to be one of the bits that we cut out. We'll just quickly do it because it doesn't take, as I said, it really doesn't take that long to set up. Looks like I've actually got some speed modules sitting up there, which is not ideal. So let's first of all disconnect the train from well, this internal network from the rest of the world. And actually those were on the right side, so I probably could have just left them. Let's build a train counter and a train publisher. Oh yes, before we put down the publisher this time, we'll remember to set up the correct naming convention for the refuel stop. And fuel stop 3 to each of these two. And this other one. Also fuel stop 3. And now the publisher can go in, and that should be fine. The wire is connected, so yep, everything's good. We just need to wait for a train to... actually no, we need to obviously wire it up first. That would be a good start. And make sure that we're reading the stop train. We don't need send to train. There's nothing on the way. There is a P. Let's open up this. Trains on the way less than P. And the priority is rocket fuel. So hopefully another one will be delivered up here fairly soon. We don't have to wait for it though. We can move on. And there it is sitting in the open requests. So I guess there is no fuel train available to us just at the moment. It doesn't look like there's any there. Or what about up there? That's the plastic trains. That's not the fuel. The fuel, no, it doesn't look like there is. There is one leaving. Yes, maybe. Maybe that was the one answering our call. Perhaps not. Anyway, not to worry. I'm sure it will be delivered in due course. So, let's head away from here now. Do I want to go up there, or do I want to go the bottom one? Maybe we'll try and get on the bottom rung. Although... oh, what am I trying to point out here? Not entirely sure what I'm trying to point out here. I'm sure it was really good stuff though. We have a train hold up at this end. And it's partly due to these trains backing up into the screen circuit stack too, but yeah, there we go, we're finally going. We've reworked a path, which I guess will do for now. Just means the oil train is going for a bit of a loop, but hopefully this new build will get rid of that. So do we have, how are we doing, 167 trains. We don't have all of the trains just yet, there's a few more to deliver, a few more locomotives. And of course there is the landfill train in the way, so I think what I do here is I try and get onto the other, the top end, and then change my mind again. Because why not? And of course I need to go down there and pick up some stuff that shouldn't be in there. Because that's kind of annoying. So yeah, let's just send the landfill train back to load up and not bring it back for now. We're probably done with landfill in this build for the time being, and we can auto send ourselves back to the engineering stop to well, we could probably pick up some locomotives and things when we get there. Just need to send a text while we're doing this. Yeah, let's grab the rest of these red circuits. And start setting up, while we wait for the trains, let's start setting up the well, we need to fix up, because obviously we're dropping off ore here, we're not requesting stuff, so I've obviously got this wrong on my ore platforms, so let's fix it up with some passive providers. I mean, this is the sort of thing that's going to get a little bit repetitive, so I'll probably just do one and do the others between times, but yeah, we can just flip these guys around, and we can probably create a blueprint of it to speed up fixing up the others, although I do think that the actual distances are a little bit different depending on whether we're dealing with the copper or the iron ore, because of how just how the distances worked when we were setting it up, as in I think we've got an extra space on the iron than we have on the copper, but not to worry. So yeah, let's go over to the weight area for the ore, and I guess what we're going to do is set up a publisher there. This would be the first time we're actually setting up publishers on OR. Not to mention, it seems that we didn't quite build out the entirety of this stacker, this rail stacker, when we first did it, so I guess we can do that now. And yeah, I guess we want to put some stations in here. How many stations do we have? Or is this what we're even going to do? Certainly would be the first time that we have put stations in. How many stations do we have? We don't really have any, of course. So yes, that means we will have to pop back to our engineering train or the supply stop and see what we've got there. With a bit of luck, we've got some stations there that we can use to fill this out. Use our path again. So much more satisfying, even at these slowed speeds, to be running on, well, especially at these slowed speeds, to be running on the path. No stations there. There's a few there. Any others? None there. None there. Okay, let's check the supply here. Looks like we've got about 14, so I guess we can probably set our stations to, what, 20 maybe? Yeah, that should do. Head back. So yeah, this will be setting the supply, publish supply mechanism for the OR. Just means that it's easier to control directing OR to where it's needed in the stack, rather than just have them try to continually access the closest one. So let's get back there, use the rest of our path, see how far it can go. If we use a very narrow path, I don't think it will quite make it. No, it doesn't, but that's helpful nonetheless. And that's actually heading up too high, so let's come down here and whack some stations in. Guess we didn't really need 20 of them, since we're only putting in 4 here and 4 up the top, but I guess it's helpful to have them. And these can be, what can they be? GC something. GC, of course, for green circuit. I mean, we don't actually use these anywhere else, so we probably want to change the naming scheme just a little bit. And yeah, those are for the final, the GC2, GC3 kind of thing, or GC1. GC1, GC2 is for something different. We don't use them up the top, the copper and so on stackers, because they are part of the larger delivery system. So this will have to be something very specific for our stack over here. So yeah, let's run with, say, GCP for Green Circuit Project copper, and it's a weight station for the copper ore weight. And we will copy that name across to these other stations, and we will have to give it a supply whatever I call them, supply something or other, sooner or later, but yeah, I guess we are going to fix the zone just to be sure, and we're going to need more robo ports along here, I'm pretty sure, but we don't have any bots in there either, you can see. So yeah, there's still a few things there to do. but not to worry. So what we are after is a publisher, a count from the network, and our usual sort of train counter and publisher combo to request new trains to sort this out. Where did I put the train counter? There it is, down in my hotbar. And we will need a couple of arithmetic combinators, and I think this is where I realise I might be a little bit short on arithmetic combinators. Or is it I'm going back to set up the subscriber, which I know I also need. I think that's what we're doing first. And that one actually is close enough. It has to be within 2 squares again, remember. And yeah, it's down low. But yeah, 1, 2, there you go, GCP copper weight, it's recognised it, it will flow through to those other stations, and that's excellent. So let's just make sure, there it is, the supply is down there, GCP copper weight. We need to set up a priority. Create a new one. For this one we can probably just use the copper ore symbol because we're not using that anywhere else, and select our just created supply station, which will be down the bottom of this list. There it is, and save that. Awesome, there's our priority. So let's get back and set up the logic for the the publisher here. So we don't need, we need the arithmetic combinators, of which we don't have a lot of. I think I'll realise fairly soon that I actually need 2 of them, but I start with just 1. So we're going to take a copper ore in, divide it by, I think one of these trains has, actually, I think it's 16,000, isn't it? So dividing by 16,000 probably was correct, but I've changed it to 8,000 for some reason. We'll output copper, and connect these up. So I want 2 trains, so one that can be pulling into the stop and one waiting in the pre-stacker. But well, at least that's what we're doing at the moment. We also need one from the station to get a count for whatever's on the train. Read train contents, and now we need our usual trains on the way is less than P, and then we order our copper ore. And of course nothing is on the way because we haven't set up the trains yet, but that's okay. I think that bit's alright. We need a blueprint now to make a copy of this, is the easiest way to extend it down. So yeah, let's just grab a new blueprint, store this here. Let's do a fake rename. There you go, fake, because we forgot to actually hit the commit button on our new symbols, but I do think I remember to correct that sooner or later. Meanwhile, we're running back to the supply station to pick up some more arithmetic combinators. And instead we grab some chain signals, but I mean they will become useful sooner or later. There we go, there's some arithmetic combinators in there, and there's a few more in there, and probably a few more in there as well. So that's good, we have a decent number now. Head back down our path. Useful things, these paths, especially when you've got such a large build to run back and forth over. Right, so that's an iron, this one will be a copper. Let's slap down our blueprint, which I think I have just realized needs renaming, with the green circuit symbol and the copper ore. There we go. Not that that makes any difference to what we're doing just now. And of course we've got the right thing in the train. We need to build another train counter, another train publisher. And the logic of the train publisher is correct, except for the bit in that little area there where we assign the priority to the train publisher. So that bit's not picked up by the blueprint. There's not really any way you can change that, given how the GUI operates. It's kind of independent. And once again, and we'll do the final one, and I guess I'll do the iron off camera and come back to you when that's done, but let's just finish off the copper, so it doesn't really take that long now that we've set this up. The counter and the publisher, and add in the extra copper ore. So yeah, that's that is definitely the last one, and that I guess will probably bring this first segment into a conclusion almost. I guess I need to we can at least set up the iron equivalents for the ore weight stations. Because that is different. Well, I mean, it is the same really, it's the same process, but it doesn't take that long to set up. So these will be GCP iron weight. And we need a to turn it into a supply station. So there's our GCP iron weight, just make sure it's there. Yes, it is. Set up our priority for it just the same way we did with the copper ore. So this is the iron ore version, and pick up our station from the bottom and save. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, we'll do the rest of the iron off camera, because it's basically exactly the same as the copper, but just takes a little while. And I can fill in we can fill in these signals that we're obviously missing. For starters, and we need to correct all of the stuff as well. So see you shortly then. And back, and okay, so what we've done is we have filled out we've fixed up the iron publishers and subscribers, and also fixed all of these passive boxes for all of the ore, as I hadn't actually done that before. So what we're going to do now is quickly set up some of the trains, since the fuel has been set up 4, I guess, per ore field. So that is 1. So what are we trying to get to? Copper 18. So copper 18 until full. Once I find copper 18, there we go, until inventory full, and then we want to go to GCP copper weight, and we can just put that down for circuit condition, and yeah, that should probably do. And on to the next one. So that was 1. Whoops. Get out of map mode. 1, 2, 3. And the wagons. So I guess I'll probably just do the first mine of this and do the other 3 copper mines off camera, and maybe head on up to the iron. So that's number 2. 2 more to go. Grab some more wagons. And yep, once we get to the top, that one should probably be full. So that is number 3, I believe. Off you go. And just 1 more. 1 more for this copper mine. 8, and the engines for the other end. And set that one also to that first copper mine. And off you go. You can see them coming through already. Just check that there are in fact 4 here. There are, but it looks like we have a slight problem with one of them. Guess we better sort that out first. Let's just run over there and have a look. Yeah, it's got a no pathing error, and yeah, it looks like it's missing a chain signal. Fairly easy to sort out. It won't take very long to just pop over there and add another one in. Another chain signal, that is, of course. Whether we really need another one here or not, I guess is beside the point, but we'll put one in anyway. There you go, it's on its way. And yeah, that will probably do us for now. I'll do the other ones off camera and come back to you shortly, I guess, for the iron part of the process. See you then. And back. So we've got all of our trains set up now for each of the mines. There should be 4 at each one. There you go, there's 4 there. At copper 19 there's another 4. Copper 20 there's 4, and copper 21 4 as well. There's none at the iron yet, of course. I'm thinking maybe we will change the plan slightly though, and I might actually just wrap it up here now, because there is still quite a few other things we have to do for the green circuits. You can see the copper's already delivered a couple of times, so there's actually 32,000 ore in each of these stations. So I may have actually, the calculation should have been dividing by 16,000 probably rather than 8,000, but never mind. It is what it is for the time being, and we have congestion, but that's fine. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one when we'll sort the rest of this out. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you then. Bye bye.